Are you looking for an alternative to Cura that is free and easy to use? Well, I just might have the ticket. Stick around because we're diving right back into our series on free slices for beginners and intermediate users. Hey, welcome to The First Layer. My name's Richard, and this is the show that explores the world of 3D printing. And today is no different because today we are getting back to our series on slicers that are free to download, full of features, and easy to use. And today we are looking at ideaMaker from Raise 3D. We've got a lot to cover today, so we're going to jump right into it and take you over to the computer and let's have a look at what ideaMaker is and how we can slice our 3D prints. All right, so we're here at the computer and we are in the latest version of ideaMaker, which at this time is 4.0.1. You can download this from the Raise 3D website. There will be a link in the description below, so make sure that you check that out. But let's go through the interface. I know we did this when we were introducing our different slicers a few months ago, but we are going to now just kind of cover things really quickly. So as you can see, this is the interface that you're going to see when you first start up ideaMaker. Now, if you need to add a printer, we're going to go up to Printer, and we can go to Print Settings, Filament, or we can go to the Configuration Wizard. Now, in the Configuration Wizard, I already have a printer, but if I had any of the Raise 3D printers, I could add one of those, which is very easy to do, or I could add a third-party printer. And if we were going to add a third-party printer, we would click there and then just start to fill in all of the information for the type of printer that we're going to be using. We're not going to really cover this right now. This is a little bit more of an advanced topic that we're going to cover later, but suffice it to say that you can actually use ideaMaker with any 3D printer, as long as you know what the parameters are and you know how to set your printer up. So we're going to just click OK. We're going to click Cancel here. So we already have the Mingda D2, which is already preloaded for us, and we can see that right up here at the very top. And this is something that I put in a while ago. So what do we have as far as the interface goes? Well, we have our bed layout. In this case, it is 230 by 230 by 260 in terms of our build volume. We'll go across the top. The first little thing that you're going to see is your file. Down here is where you're going to do anything related to your file. If you've got a new, you need a new interface, or you need, you want to open up a file, import models, export models, all that kind of stuff is going to be found under File. Now, under the Edit tab, you're going to find all of the things that you can do to edit. Now, you can also go into the Preferences and make some changes in your preferences. Let's say that you're slicing for a client build. Well, you can go ahead and put in the currency and also add how many or how much material you're going to use, just by going through the tabs and just confirming everything here in our preferences. Now, we're just going to cancel out of that. So if we go over to slice, these are all the things that we're going to do to slice our model. These are the different views that are available to us. Then we have our model. We can do some mesh repairs inside of ideaMaker. It's quite a powerful program for being free, by the way. And then underneath printer, of course, we have the configuration wizard. We can see our current printer settings, which in this case is the Mingda D2. We have 230 by 230 by 260. You know, distance, we know that it's using Marlin as a firmware, rectangular bed. In this case, our gantry height is set to 0 because we're not doing any sequential printing. In the advanced tab, you can see we have our NG code. We can put in some custom G code there if we needed to. And then, of course, in the primary extruder, we can see if we wanted to set off any offsets. In this case, we don't need to do anything. Now, we can also export this printer profile if we want to use it on another machine. And then, of course, there is the help menu. If you are looking for any help on this software, it is all right here, and you can also do your software updates. Now, across this toolbar, we're going to see Add, and this is where we are going to add a model. Now, I have a model here that I want to put in, and we're just going to use our standard key ring. This is I support the first layer. You can see it automatically opened up the wrench dialog box, and it's saying that we're going to use a primary extruder because we only have one extruder on this machine. And you can go ahead and change the color. This is not representative of the color of filament that you're using. This is just the color that you want to see the model in. In our case, we're using gray, so it works out quite well for us. Now you'll see once we've added a model, we can go ahead and close that. We have delete. We can delete the model. We can view the model, which is what we're doing now. We can use the pan and pan around. We can move the model if we so choose on any axis. We can move it up. We can move it down, whatever we need to do. Then we can rotate. We can scale if we wanted to scale it up. We can cut it. Now, this will cut the selection as you need it to cut and on what plane. So here we can see that the cut plane is quite high. If we wanted to do, say, a pause and change the color so that our text in our border is a different color, we could do that right here. We can also do supports, which we don't really need. There are some modifiers. We'll get into this at a later date because this is more of an advanced topic. The max fit, if you click on that, it is going to give you a very giant key ring, and it's going to fit the maximum bed space that it can fit according to the model that we've got. So we can duplicate the model, we can repair the model, we can go ahead and connect directly to our computer if we are tethered or to a printer. There is a library in ideaMaker, and that will open up different things for you. They've got a benchy here. They've got some different models that you can go ahead and download as well if you so choose. We're going to close that up right now. Let's go back and we'll just do Control Z so we get back to our original model here. And then of course we can use the raised cloud. If we're using a raised 3D printer, we can use the raised cloud. I believe you can use it also with other printers, but don't quote me on that. Now down here on the side we have our wrench. This is your edit the selectable models. Down below this will list all the models, and you can see here we're using keyring version 6. The little start button or play button will bring you up the dialog box for setting up for slicing. In this case, we are going to use the Mingda D2. We are using PLA. We're not using raised PLA, but we're using PLA in just what we're doing here. Our shells are 2.5, and we are printing at a layer height of 0.12 millimeters. So this is going to give us a really nice looking print. We're not ready to slice this yet, so we're just going to go ahead and just close that dialog box. And your uploading queue. So if you were uploading to Octoprint, this says Octoprint integration built into it. You can go ahead and upload this to Octoprint, or you can use the raised cloud. Now, when we look at the information down here in the lower right corner, we can see that we have our model. This is the file name, the bounding box. That's what the bounding box is. How many triangles are in this? How many edges? Non-manifolded edges, 0. Error orientation faces is 0. This is good information. If you've got that green check there, it means that you can go ahead and print your file. If it comes up with an X, it's going to tell you that you probably have holes in the mesh, and you have to do some repair work. And fortunately enough, we can go ahead and do some repair. We don't have to on this one because we know it's a good model. Now, if we want to make sure that it is on our bed, we can look from any different view. If you ever have to get back to the home view, you just go ahead and hit the little home in the center of the 4 arrows. All right, so we have this. Pretty simple to use. We can do keyboard shortcuts as well. We can go in and see what all the shortcuts are. So again, this is quite a powerful program. For a free program provided by Raise 3D. Very easy to use. Now, let's go ahead and take our, well, actually, let's go back to view and we'll close that. And we're going to move this so it's more towards the center. Now, if we wanted to, we can make this center just by hitting the center button. If we had more than one model, we could go ahead and arrange all models, or we could reset. Now, one of the things I really like for something like this, especially with a model that like a keychain, we can duplicate this. Now, we only can duplicate it 5 times. That's it. So we would hit OK, and that would give us 5 new versions of our or duplicated versions of our original print. If we wanted to arrange these, of course, we could go back and we could right click, duplicate, array. You could select all the prints. You can center them. So all the prints now are centered. If we wanted to arrange them again, we could go back to arrange and just arrange all of the prints so they look a little bit better. If we wanted to move one, we could go ahead and move it so that it aligns with the one next to it. Same thing here. We can go ahead and align that. And there we go. That's all there really is to it. There's not a lot to doing much. In the position, again, if we went to arrange, it's going to arrange it in the best way it thinks that we want it to be. And that's not necessarily always what we want. So we want to make sure that everything's on the platform. Again, we're going to arrange all the models. But I want to go into my list, and I'm going to take out all the ones that I added. We're going to click OK. I'm going to take this one. We're going to go back up to our make center, and we now are going to put that in the center. Now, when we slice this, this is going to give us some interesting details. So we're going to hit the little play key here. We know what we're doing. We can group and layer settings. We can do pre-model and sequential printing as well if we wanted to enable sequential printing. So this is just a really quick overview of what this software is. We're going to go ahead and slice this. Does it fairly quickly. Now, we have some options here. We know that it's going to take 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 42 seconds. It's going to use 4.7 grams of filament, and our estimated price is 14 cents. We can do a preview and have a look at the preview. We can upload it directly to the printer if we were connected, or to the Raise Cloud, or to Octoprint. Again, we have to have that connection to those different peripherals, or we can strictly export it. So what we're going to do is grab the card, and we're going to slip it into our card reader, and then we're going to say export, and we'll find our card, which is the removable disc right there, and we're going to hit save. We already had saved it before, but you can see it doesn't take long for this to do. Now, once we're done, we can close all of this, but before we do, I want to show you the preview. So here we can see the preview. We can zoom in on it. I'm using a skirt. These green areas are areas that are not going to be filled in because this is such a small key ring. It's not very big at all. It's only about 2 inches wide. So it's not a very big key ring. So this is something you would want to add to your key ring if you so chose. That being said, by clicking the right mouse button, you can orbit around and have a look at it from different angles, which is always helpful. So all this green that we're seeing, this, by the legend on the side that we see here, is our inner shell. So we just don't have enough room to fill in that inner shell. So it's going to show up. But when we do the print, you'll never even see it. So now that we've set it off, we are going to go ahead and print it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so here's our final print, and we can see that we have done this in the latest PLA from our friends over at Matter 3D. Matter3D.com will has a new gray that they will be releasing very soon, PLA. But here, what we can see is that we've got a little bit of stringing, and that's just, you know, setting the retraction settings in that slicer. So it's not too bad at all. So there's not a whole lot that this slicer doesn't perform. It does really good. You can see we got a little bit of an edge right there where we pried it off the build plate because we put a little bit of glue down onto our glass plate to hold this in place. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with that. I would be happy to put a keyring on here and give this away to anybody. And we're going to be making up a whole lot more of these anyway. But at this time, we've got a nice print all done in ideaMaker. And there's really not a whole lot to it. So if you want to try ideaMaker, as I said, the link is in the description down below. Try it out, see if you like it. Add your printer. If you're an intermediate user, it might be a great little way to try to use something new other than Cura. And again, it doesn't cost you anything. And if you're brand new to 3D printing, it might be something that you want to look at. It's fairly easy to use, pretty straightforward. I would definitely give it a try if I were starting from scratch again. I'm going to spend a little bit more time with it. We are going to get into using ideaMaker more in the future, and we're going to dive into some of the more advanced aspects of the software and just show you exactly how to set things up and tune it for your 3D printer. So until we see you next time, please remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. And if you were new here, that please hit that subscribe button. Also ding that little bell so you get notified every time we do a brand new episode. And check out some of the extra footage here of other episodes that we've done on different slicers. And make sure that you leave a comment down below. If ideaMaker, let me know how you do with ideaMaker by leaving me a comment down below. So we are going to get out of here for another day, and we will see you again next week. We are on live Sunday with our Ask for Help. So if you've got any questions regarding 3D printing, make sure that you join us at 12 noon Mountain Standard Time. Till then, see you later.